All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's wonderful workshop with Miss Laverne Thomas. She's going to be leading us today in this amazing work, and we're going to be talking about trucking, how to dominate the road and understand about being in the navigating your way through the trucking industry. Laverne, thank you for joining us and for taking this opportunity to help the folks in the audience understand more about how to navigate through this industry that most minorities are not very familiar with. I don't know. My name is Terry Simmons, first of all, and I am the CEO and the founder of Strategic Exceptions Professional Consulting Incorporated. We are an education, training, and consulting company. And we are headquartered in Aurora, and we also the operator of the Illinois Minority Business Development Agency Business Center. And so we just did our launch for the center on Friday, and our offices for the center are located, our main offices are located in downtown Elgin, Illinois. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we do. The Illinois Minority Business Development Agency Business Center is a program that is funded in part by the U.S. Department of Commerce through the Minority Business Development Agency, which is out of Washington, D.C. And I don't know if you guys have heard or seen what's been going on in the news, but there was just a $1.2 trillion bill signed to help upgrade the infrastructure throughout our country. As you probably know, there's a lot of need to upgrade our roads, our bridges, our water systems, mostly our phone lines, all of those systems that we use every day and sometimes we take for granted. But there's a lot of opportunity for businesses to get into this area so that they can get contracting. There's going to be a lot of grants available. There's going to be a lot of contracts available for businesses that are in the trucking, the construction industry, and a lot of different other industries. So Laverne, the information that you're going to bring to us today is going to be very valuable to all of our participants, as well as others who want to get into this industry or who may be in the industry already and need to understand it a little bit better. So we're excited to bring Laverne with you to you today to talk more about this industry. And just a little bit more about what we do, just to break it down a little bit more, because I know a lot of people want to know more about like grants and loans. So what we offer, we help business understand the certification process. We help them understand matchmaking, the bidding process. So we have workshops on understanding how to go through the bidding process. When there's opportunities to bid on contracts, how do you do that? What is a capability statement? What is grants.gov? What is GATA? What is your NACE codes? What are those financial documents that you need in order to do business with the federal government and get these contacts, these contracts, these grants, and all of the other funding opportunities that are available. So that's what we do. And we also help businesses with their strategic growth plan. So I'm going to get out of the way and turn it over to Ms. Laverne. Lizette will tell you at the end how to contact us at the center. You can contact us to get coaching and advising. We provide all kinds of services, but in order to take advantage of the services, you have to contact us. And you have to become a member of our organizations so that we can support you. In order to become a member to sign up, there is no cost for that. So we want you to know that. Sometimes people say when you become a member, there's a cost for that. There's no cost to become a member of our organization. So take advantage of it. I'm going to turn it over to Laverne now and stop talking so much. Take it over, Laverne.
Okay, thank you, Terry. Thank you definitely for bringing me along to be a part of this amazing vision that you have to teach women and minorities about trucking. I'm so honored to be one of your instructors. So first and foremost, good morning, everyone. As stated, my name is Laverne Thomas, and I am going to go over this nice little webinar that we've entitled Intro to Trucking. And the reason why it's considered intro to trucking is because there is so much that the trucking industry entails. And I believe that's a lot of the reason why women and minorities aren't really aware of where they fit in, because it is so much, it is so overwhelming. But because the picture is so broad, there are so many things that we could do to actually go in and have successful, very lucrative businesses and opportunities and contracts, like Terry stated, from the trucking industry. Okay, so I'm going to dive into it. I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible, make it as light as possible, and then have room for questions at the end. But to start off, for those of you who may or may not know me, my name is Laverne Thomas, and I am the owner and CEO of BDL Coaching. I started BDL coaching in 2017. Originally, it was just to service women, minority women, to help us rebuild our faith and our finances. So I went over a lot of entrepreneurship, author writing, business, nonprofit establishment, and all of that. When I scaled up in January 2020, when I went full time into my business, I expanded my services to women and men, primarily for the community as well as in the corporate area. So I am a woman-owned, minority-owned, operated, and certified company. So some of the certifications that I'm going to go over with you towards the end, I have been through the process and received. And primarily right now, what I did was I coupled my education, my experiences in the education, government, ministry, as well as social services, all of my experiences, and created a complete firm. Well, now it is myself and 25 coaches that I have certified and trained myself, that we go into different communities as well as within corporate to focus on certain areas pertaining to our needs. So in the community sector, we go into organizations and we just help them restructure, reorganize, and actually implement the programs that they are desiring to help us. Because we all know, we see these amazing, beautiful buildings that are built overnight. They have all of these services, all of this staff, but none of the community is actually being serviced. And that's because they don't have the connection, they don't have the idea of who we are, and they don't have the impact in the community. So I go in and help develop that so that their services are actually reaching the people that they desire, and the people they desire are getting what they need. Now, on the corporate side, I make sure that the environment is comfortable for us. So a lot of diversity, equity, and inclusion training for companies, particularly for women and minorities. I love creating tables, creating opportunities for businesses, individual businesses, but a lot of us do not desire to own our own business. We don't desire to leave our 9-to-5, but we desire to leverage ourselves up on the ladder to do more, but the environments don't actually give us that opportunity. So I go in and train those companies on how to cultivate and encourage and develop women in leadership, and how to create the environments to make it healthy and happy and safe workplaces for minorities. So my company, my firm, along with my coaches, we go out into the community as well as into the corporate sector to make sure that minorities and women have everything that we need to succeed. So that is my mission. And that's kind of how I got into this area of trucking, was because when I scaled up in January 2020, I established a business to actually receive government funding. So going through that process, I learned so much about how it was all this money being left on the table in the trucking industry, and that there were so many different avenues and services and set aside programs that specifically was just kind of hand us money, but then nobody's really telling us about it. You kind of have to navigate and figure it out on your own. So I've done that research. I service some truck companies, some construction companies right now. So I know a little bit about how to navigate your way through and how you can do some things even from the privacy of your home. Okay. So I will be going over that. And along with everything else that I did is, again, I said I service businesses, I help entrepreneurs, and I also help nonprofits start up and sustain themselves. Because it's one thing to start a business, but it's another thing to make business and to stay in business. So as a strategic partner, I come in and help them with that. So let's get started into this beautiful world of trucking. So what is it exactly? Like, simply put, the trucking industry is literally transportation of products from one place to another legally across state lines within the United States. So when you think about trucking, it's literally everything. Terry just stated about this huge bill that the president signed recently. So when you hear things like infrastructure, we want to change the roads, we want to do all these bridges. When I hear that, I hear jobs coming for so many people, but the average person don't. We think, oh my God, it's going to be so much traffic. It's going to delay where I'm coming, I'm going. Why do we even need a new expressway? But when you break down all the different components that goes into building infrastructure on a state highway, trucking is one of the major pieces outside of construction. Because when you think about trucking, who is going to bring the screws? Who is going to bring the metal? Who is going to bring the beams? Who is going to bring the sand, the rocks, all the materials that the construction sites need? It travels from different states. The truck drivers are the ones that bring those products from one location to the next. So that's how trucking gets into that $1 trillion bill that just got passed. So there is a huge opportunity for companies, for trucking companies, for construction companies to actually be a part of this amazing new turn that we're about to do. And then that's not even including what is out there already at the city, the state, and the federal level for the trucking industry. So I pray that what I'm about to go over with you helps you get an idea of what is all involved in this process and how you can jump in and get a piece of the pie as well, okay? So I'm going to go over the essentials and the basics of the coaching field, opportunities from home, how to get the license and the different endorsements, and then how to get started, okay? So trucking essentials. So when there are two different avenues that we consider trucking companies. So there is called the authority, and then there's the owner operator. Because I was an educator for 10 plus years, I felt that the easiest way to simplify this process for you and help you remember it, even if you're not taking notes once you get off this webinar, is to equate it to the school system, right? So trucking in itself is the entire school system. When you think about the authority, the trucking authority, that's the superintendent. That's the person who has all the power. That's the person that has the entire workings of schools, the programs for the kids, everything you need to hire and fire. That's what the superintendent has access to. They make the policies, the procedures, they make the decisions. They are the ones who have kind of authority over everything. So when you're thinking about the trucking authority, that's the exact same perspective. Consider the superintendent, right? So they have the federal permission to transport from state to state across state lines. They actually have all the licenses, all the permits, because different states require different things. They're the insurance holder of the entire company, and they are responsible for everything. So if something goes wrong, the one who has the authority is the one who's responsible. That comes with additional insurance, additional finance. You got to think about the equipment, the different trucks. Like that is what the authority is. They have everything that's considered, okay? But it is also a very lucrative opportunity as well, because with the authority, you have access to all the profit and all the revenue, and you determine who gets paid, where this goes, and how to divide this up, okay? So, with more power, there's more responsibility, but it also is financially lucrative. But if you don't want to have an authority, if you don't want to be the person responsible for everything, then you can just be the principal. You can be the owner and the operator of the trucking company. So what that means is that you own a truck, you have your CDL, there's less of financial responsibility to you outside of your regular insurance payments and transporting of things here and there, but you would actually work under an authority. So the principal is working under the superintendent. They have somebody to answer to. And that's the same thing with the owner operator. Like if you just are the owner and operator, you work under the authority. So that you still have a covering, you have some support. If something goes wrong, that's who you call. So with the owner and operator, you still can have your own business. It could be a totally separate business, but the authority will outsource services to you. Because that's even an opportunity where the authority does not have to have a CDL. You can still be over everything and don't have a CDL, because you can outsource someone with a truck and someone who has a CDL license to actually perform your services. So the authority is everything. And then the owner and operator has its own individual company, but works under the authority. Because you have to operate under authority to be able to do business in trucking. You have to have someone who can vouch for you, who can say that you are able to transport from one place to the next, someone to give you the location, someone to actually tell you who the customer or the client is. So when you're considering a school setting, the authority is the superintendent, more responsibility, but more pay. The owner operator is the principal. They're assigned to a specific area, specific school. The pay is still substantial, but they have to work under the superintendent. A principal can't operate a school on its own. It has to have someone that oversees that school. So that was the way that I wanted to present that to you. And then when we go into some other roles, I still want you to keep in mind that the school field to try to help you. Okay. So under license and endorsements, like what exactly do you need to operate a truck? So like I stated, you don't need a CDL to run a trucking company, but in order for you to drive a truck, you must have a CDL. So I can have my own trucking company and then just outsource or hire a trucking company with the CDL driver to actually do the services for me. So we'll work in partnership. Okay. In order to get your CDL, all you need to, if you want to travel within the state of Illinois, so you want to stay within state lines, that is called interstate. So you have to be 18 years of age with a valid driver's license to apply for your CDL. But if you want to go outside of the state, that's intrastate, and that's going to be, you have to be at least 21 years of age to do that with a valid driver's license, okay? If you have both of those easy qualifications, then you can apply for a commercial learner's permit. So that's $50 right now in the state of Illinois. And that is just saying it's equivalent to what we would do when we were learning how to drive. It's a learner's permit. It's where you take a written exam. There's a skills-based exam, and then they actually review your driving record for 10 plus years. So of course, if you're 21, you don't really have that much of a driving record, but they go back that far just to make sure like there's nothing against your driving record, but no background checks, no credit checks or anything like that. Is literally just trying to review your driving record. So this is why trucking as well as construction is one of the main ways that someone who has been incarcerated, that has a background, can successfully own and operate a business that is lucrative right away, because their background, their criminal background does not come into play when you're thinking of talking about a CDL, okay? And then once you have passed the commercial learnings permit process, you can apply within 2 weeks or 14 business days for your CDL license. And that runs about $60. And that comes along with another skills test and then a driving test. So when you are applying for your CDL, you want to make sure that you are driving the type of truck that you desire to operate, because when you don't, what's going to happen is that you may or may not have the endorsements, or you may add restrictions to your license because you're not prepared to do the business that you said you wanted to do. So that jumps right into the different classes. So there's a CDL license, but there's different classes to that license. And those classes go according to what type of vehicle you want to operate and how much you're going to be, what is considered to haul, how much are you going to carry, right? So this is with the Class A, that's similar to a semi truck, like a combination of vehicles that amount to 26,000 pounds or more. So consider a semi truck for that. A Class B is when one single vehicle is 26,000 pounds or more. So that's more like a box truck. Class C is 16,000 pounds. So that's considered to be like a bus or a van. And then for Class D, that's more of your standard license. That's more of just the basic, truck, 16,000 pounds. Okay, but you only need a CDL. CDLs only require for A, B, and C. You don't need it for the D because that's just your standard driving. But those are the different classes that go under trucking. Okay. And then there are different endorsements. There are so many different ways, so many different opportunities that you can actually use within your CDL. It all depends on what you want to do. So like I said, you don't want to take the test. You don't want to take the driving test within a vehicle that you don't plan to drive. So if you just want to be a school bus driver, you don't want to be doing your test in a semi truck. Or if you're doing a semi truck, you don't want to be doing it in a charter bus. So you have to decide what exactly you want to drive, what you want to operate, and have that truck ready, available to do the testing. The same with us when we are trying to get our regular driver's license. Like, you have to be able to provide the vehicle for the DMV, and the same thing is for the truck. But this is if you are doing this on your own, and it's completely an opportunity. You can do this on your own. You go to the DMV, or you even online, you download the CDL manual, study on your own, apply for the test, and go from there. That's the most inexpensive way you can do it. But you can also go to just a driving CDL school. Those run between $500, $600, $800 or more dollars, all depending on the length and the location. And that's an opportunity where you can get all of this, all in one stop shop. They'll go over everything with you specifically, and then the test and all of that comes with it. But if you want to kind of save some money and you feel strong and confident enough that you can learn the materials on your own by just studying, you can go get a manual for free. You can download it online for free. Just make sure that it says the state of Illinois. Okay. The endorsements are what I was saying in terms of the different vehicles that you can operate. So you can, if you want to be a truck driver that specifically truck hauls hazardous materials, then that's an endorsement for that. It's additional $5 just to add on to your license. There's a tank, there's a passenger vehicle, the school bus, towing, charter, and then there's an option for a combination of the tank and the hazardous. So it's all about going through and seeing what you're comfortable with, what you're interested in, and that will determine what kind of endorsements that you can get additional to your license. Okay. So that's all of that information is if you want to drive a truck. If you have it in your heart, I want to buy a truck, I want to operate them on my own. I either want to own my own authority or I want to work under another company. You have to get your, if you want to be behind the wheel, you have to get your CDL. But there is so much money for us, especially for women, behind our computers at home. And all of these jobs that I'm going to go over are all six-figure jobs, literally from working from our homes. And it's your own business. You don't have to work for anybody else. You can, if you want the training, additional training, or to do both while you're building your business. But all four of these different opportunities are based on you starting your own business from your home and not owning a truck at all. But if you desire to own a truck, you can purchase your own, which is quite expensive, but you can also lease or rent trucks as well. So don't feel like if you don't have $16,000-$17,000 right now to buy a truck, then you're going to have to wait. There are various companies out there that will allow you to lease or rent trucks, and you just kind of pay as you go. So that's options for you as well. So opportunities from home. So again, we're going to consider the school model, and this is how I wanted to kind of explain these different positions. So dispatching is literally the heart of the trucking business. That is the department, the person who oversees the ins and outs, the logistics of the trucking business. So this is considered similar to the secretary in the school. Yeah, I don't know how many of you have worked in school, or I remember when we were kids, but you could not get anything without going through the secretary. I don't care if you are a teacher, you're an administrator, you're a security guard, you're the lunchroom lady, everybody has to make contact with the secretary at some point. It's the same way with the dispatcher. The dispatcher is the one who will tell you what route, what product is going where, what route are you going to take. If you're in trouble, that's the one that's going to convey everything to the owner. Like, this is the person who is the liaison between the company and the contractor. So they're the one who's going to be telling you the ins and out. Without the dispatcher, you won't make any money. So some companies that start out, they dispatch on their own, and it could be a little difficult. They might have, a friend or someone do it to it, or even hire outsource. You could be that outsource. That could solely be your company is a dispatcher. If you are good with organizing, if you are good with structure, if you are good with making sure that everything is timely, then this would be a great opportunity for you. And it is a 9-to-5 job. You can earn $100K a year or more simply dispatching for a company or companies. If you're organized enough, you can do this. You can dispatch for more than one company at a time. So that's an opportunity. It's similar to a secretary of a school. So the broker is the other option. To be a trucking broker is similar to a recruitment coordinator at a school. When we used to go, right now there are so many high schools and everybody's competing over the children, a role of the recruitment coordinator was created so they can go out and get the 8th graders. They can go out and speak to the 7th graders so that when they're ready, they will consider their school. They would apply for everything and they will work everything out. If there was a fee, that would be the person that help you navigate, the finances and so forth. Like, that's the person that goes out and get the youth to come into the building. That's what the broker does. The broker is the one that goes out and gets the business. They go out and connect the carriers to the shippers. They're the relationship people. They negotiate contracts. Like, the broker is the one that goes out to get the business. But going out does not mean you physically have to leave your home. You could email, call, go on websites, make connections. Like, the virtual life was real in trucking prior to the pandemic, but it has even increased since the pandemic. So every company that wasn't online before, that didn't have a virtual presence, has one now. And that's the same for trucking companies. So if you decided to start a broker, a trucking broker business, you will be the one that is actually going out and making sure that the trucking company has what it needs in order for it to survive. So you connect them with the person who has the product and needs it shipped to the next location, and you're the one that's setting the deal. You're the deal maker. Okay. And this, with this particular role, you do need to receive a specific license for this, because this role is also considered an authority as well. So you have, there's some license, some insurance, there's some bonds that go with this role, but it is another opportunity for you to work from home. And you don't have to own a truck. You just have to have a relationship with a trucking company and somebody that needs something hauled. Okay. So that's significant and relevant to a recruitment coordinator. So compliance, there are permits, insurance, drug and alcohol testing and regulations, state requirements, business protection, policy updates, like all of this stuff is needed with trucking companies. Why? Because you have to be you're being responsible for moving someone else's goods and services that's valuable to them to the next place. So there is so much that goes into the trucking business, from the compliance and the security aspect of it. You want to make sure that your drivers are safe. You want to make sure that they are drug and alcohol free. You want to make sure that everybody has their permits so that we're hauling the right amount of equipment that we are insured for. You want to make sure the insurance doesn't lapse, because it's not like having insurance for a trucking company is not similar to us having insurance for our cars. You know, if we miss a payment, then they'll give us a deadline to pay it before it's completely removed. But with the trucking company, with the insurance, if you don't pay it, you have to start all over again. And it could be very, very expensive. So trucking companies do not want their insurance to lapse at all, because that doesn't give me confidence from a carrier perspective that the products that I want you to ship on your truck is going to be safe. Or if you lose it, I'm going to get my money back. So these are things that have to be done behind the scenes. So this is equivalent to me as a security guard, the security office. Like, you make sure that everything is taken care of, that there is nothing that will hurt or harm your business under the compliance role. Trucking companies hire compliance companies to do this if they don't have anybody in-house, because this could make or break their business. It's so important for them to have all of their paperwork up to date, for all their permits to be renewed on time, for all of their insurance to be up on time, to make sure that their employees are not under the influence and get their testing as regularly as they should. Like, all of this stuff is important and essential to the survival of a trucking company. The same way with the school. If our kids are not safe and protected inside the building, there is nothing that you can teach them, and there's nothing that you can tell me as a parent that will make me feel comfortable with my babies being in your building if they're not safe. It's the same thing for the compliance role. The compliance role keeps the business safe and secure from destruction, from hurt, harm, hazard, destruction, and closing. That's a whole company in itself. So if you are someone that understands rules and policies, doesn't have a problem with reading the fine print, can keep record of when dates need to be done, not even on the due date, but 5 to 7 days before the due date or a month before the due date, you're great at setting alarms and alerts. You can communicate well with others, and you are organized. Again, organized, structured, and you're able to keep up. You could have a complete compliance business and just do that in trucking and make 6 figures. And like I said, all of these roles, you can do it for more than one company at a time. You don't have to stay in one compartment. So compliance is definitely a really good area to look into. Okay. And then, of course, the virtual assistant, which is kind of similar to the clerk. Because remember, the dispatcher is the secretary, but the clerk is where the kids used to get their bus cards. That's where they used to come in and check their attendance. If something was wrong, those are the ones that called home. That's what the virtual assistant is for the trucking business. They handle all the back office support, sending all the emails, all the calendars, setting up all the meetings, the paperwork, managing the website, the social media, the marketing, like all the things that the drivers don't want to deal with. The majority of the male clients that I have in construction and in trucking don't want to do this. They just say, Laverne, I'm gonna send you the money. I'll send you whatever you ask for. Just take care of this for me. Do this for me. Like, they don't have the time. They just want to be on the road driving. especially male drivers or male trucking companies. Like they don't have the capacity to do all of this stuff. And this is the stuff that if they don't do it, the business will fail. No matter if they have an amazing, brand new, fully automated truck that can haul thousands and thousands of things, if their paperwork, if their back office if their dispatching isn't set up and running smooth and efficiently, the trucking business will close. It will fail. They know how important this stuff is. I was on the phone last night with the client who has a trucking company and a construction company. And one of his biggest things was that he had to pay for something. He had to go down. Oh, the truck broke down, but they called him in the middle of the night, woke him out of his sleep at 4 a.m. And he's just like, it's too much access to me. It's too easy to me. Like, I need people in place that will handle this. I need a person who will be over my operations. I need somebody who can email back and forth, because if I have this business going on, I'm on site, I can't get to the trucks as soon as I need to. But if I had somebody handling A, B, and C, and somebody who could actually make the payment for me, and I don't have to take it to the shop myself, that would help me. And that's what he was asking for. He was literally asking for an assistant. He was asking for some help, but majority of them don't know where to get that from. So that's what another company that you could be a virtual assistant specifically for the trucking industry and generate 6 figures in business. And these are thriving businesses right now. They were before, but they really are now, because it's an opportunity for women and minorities to get into the business without actually owning or operating a truck. Okay, so these are things we could do from our home. And if the pandemic didn't prove anything, we could do just about anything from the house. Okay, so that was that area. And then there's consultant. So I consider the consultant to be the teachers, because every teacher specializes in something. You have an English teacher, reading teacher, math teacher, and that's what you're going to consult on. And this is what I do. This is where I come in. I'm the consultant for the construction workers as well as the truck drivers. So I go in and go over their processes and procedures to see how can I improve their profitability. Because again, remember what I said, if they don't have all that stuff, they don't have their paperwork in order, if they don't have their onboarding process together, they can't make the money that they need. They're going to struggle. There's no way you can just buy a truck, get in there and make money and forget about all the background stuff. The business will not succeed. It will not thrive like that. So I go in and I help them with that. It's as simple as even organizing their contracts. Like some of the times when I'm talking to them, it's the littlest things that they are struggling with that is causing them the most headache. They'll pay tons of money for that assistance. Okay, so I'm helping them with the recruitment, the onboarding process. They don't have time to interview. They don't have time to list jobs. They don't have time to create a job description. They don't have time to create a business plan. They don't have time to level up their business. Like they are literally on the go. And the trucking business is such in demand and in need right now. Some truck drivers some truck businesses are operating 16, 24 hours a day. I don't know if you all saw right before Halloween, it's like media was warning us. If you have not done your online shopping for Christmas yet, 7 times out of 10, you're not going to get your items on time before Christmas. That was in October. Why? Because there are tons and tons and tons of products literally sitting at the ports all over, because there are not enough truck drivers to go out and pick it up and transport it from place to place. So trucking is so in demand. There's an area for everyone. So most of these truck drivers, if you want to be behind the scenes, most of these truck drivers are swamped. They can't even fathom stopping right now. It was one gentleman that said, my friend is doing 22-hour shifts and taking off maybe a day here and there, because he's so afraid that if he stopped, the money is just way too good right now because they need them. They're throwing contracts, they're throwing money at them left and right because they need them to be out there to get this stuff because there's a shortage. And anywhere where there's a shortage, there's an opportunity to make money, but you want to do it in decently and in order. So that's why all the back office operations I went over is so important. And that's why my role is important to them, because I help them get everything organized. I help them structure everything. I help them with the management, the operations of everything, making sure everybody is on board on their right place. They're operating the trucks according to their endorsements. And if they want to scale up, I help them with the certification process. Okay, so you're used to just doing business with private companies. Okay, so let's scale you up and get you ready for the state, for the government. So there's different ways to help them make more money so they can hire more people. But it has to start with the organization of everything in the background. And this, with just being a consultant, it's an easy 5 to 10K a month or even quarterly per company. And that's just going in, looking at tell me what's going on with your business. Okay, I'm going to tell you how to fix it, tell you how to organize it. That's not even sometimes doing it myself. It's just giving them what they need to do, and they can determine whoever they want to do it. And these gentlemen, they need it. And the women as well. It's women who purchase trucks and had the goal of making all of this money, but didn't realize all the back end stuff that needs to go with it, or can't manage both. They're driving the truck, but they're doing the dispatching, they're doing the onboarding, and it's just too much. And they're not enjoying the business like they should because their hands are all over the place. So that's why there's such an opportunity for us, because if we can relieve the stress and the burden off of a business owner by doing something that we enjoy, that's easy to us, that we do every day anyway, by being a mom or a wife, we are director of operations on a daily basis. We operate businesses even if we don't have a job from home. Being a parent from home, being a spouse is a business. We do this stuff in our sleep. So why not use our skills and our gifts in an industry that will not only be lucrative for us, but actually can benefit other minority and other women-owned businesses as well. So it's all about figuring out where you can jump in, where's your part, where you fit in starting. So how you get started is very simple. Just figure out your business name and start your LLC. Now, when you figure out your business name, I put on here to be very general, very basic, because I know us. I know women. I was one of them that started the business with this really cute, elaborate name, but that's not what you want. You want to make sure that it's very general and basic so that you can move around the industry in different areas. So I'm going to give you my example. When I first started serving women in 2017, the name of my business was Bliss Dream Love Coaching. And it was Bliss Dream Love Coaching because I was helping women love God, love themselves, and love the people around them, right? Helping them reestablish their faith and finances. It worked great for reaching the heart of an individual woman. But when I needed to go into the government sector, that was one of the main things that was scrutinized because they couldn't figure out, well, how are you going to do? What are you going to do with us? Like, what are you going to use your contract for? What exactly are you looking for? It was too much for them. And it was hard for me to part with my name because I loved it. But I ended up having to do doing business as and making my company BDL Coaching to fit the corporate sector, to fit the government sector, to fit the state sector, because it was very general. It was very general with BDL coaching. I can come in, I can coach trucking. I can coach diversity and equity. I can coach nonprofits. I'm not limiting myself on what I can do with my company when the name is very basic. Now, I know it stands for Bliss Dream Love, but they don't have to know that. And that's the same with you. And I had a client yesterday. His company was his trucking company. He wanted to name it like total let's just say like Total Domination Trucking or something like that. And tried to warn him, tried to give him the heads up. But I said, but it's your business. You name your business whatever you want. And what happened when we got to the part when it was time for us to get the insurance, they kicked it back because they didn't know what he was talking about. So I'm in the process of doing a name change for his business so he can get his insurance so we can get rolling. You know, and it was the same thing for a construction company. He added realty at the end of his name. The insurance company kicked it back. So he had to change the name in order to get the insurance. So I know women, we're very cute, we're very creative, we're very, we're amazing in that area. But men do it too. Keep it very simple. Think of a simple name. It could be ABC Trucking, or ABC Group, ABC LLC, like whatever it is, just make it very simple. It can stand for something that you know that you want to stand for your company, but keep it very general, very basic, so you can move around in different areas, because we never want to cap ourselves. Okay. Start your LLC. It's only $150 with the state of Illinois. Get your EIN number, which is free. That's your business social security number. Start your DUNS number. That's free. And that's going to help you establish your business credit. Even from the very beginning, if you use it in the right way. Then if you're doing business with the government, you're going to need a cage code. All of that stuff comes with the government process. And just like Terry stated earlier, capability statements are everything. Capability statements are to companies what resumes are to you as a person. So they want to see the name of your company. They want to see what services you provide. They want to see what codes that you have that describes the services so that you're actually approved for, and how you're going to actually service them. Like what programs, what services, what offerings, what supplies or products are you endorsed to actually ship? Okay, and that's for any business. Policies and procedures are huge because they want to know what are you going to happen if something happens. Well, what are you going to do if something happens? So if my product gets stuck on the truck that goes under a viaduct and it's stuck there for more than 12 to 16 hours and I can't get my product on time, what's your process for that? Who's your backup plan? Who's your emergency contact? They want to know the ins and outs of your business so that they are rest assured. It's just for comfort and assurance for your client. So when you're doing like big contracts with the city, the state, even with private sector, your policies and your procedures are something they're going to ask you for. So you can't skip over this stuff that you figure it might be minor or not important. Everything's important when you're considering the success of your business. And whether you want to actually drive your truck or not, you're still going to need business insurance. So with your truck, it's going to be a little bit more because there's a little bit more liability because you're carrying somebody else's products to and from. But if you just have like your compliance company, your dispatching company, you need insurance to cover you if anything happens. Okay. And that's not as expensive, but as it would be if you were driving the truck, but you still should have business insurance. No business should be operating without insurance because anything could happen. Even with me coaching, somebody could say that something I said triggered them and made them make a wrong decision. And then the next thing you know, now that's why their business went bankrupt because of what I said. With my insurance, that'll take care of that. It'll cover it. And take care of that end. So the same with you. So I wouldn't suggest anybody starting any business, especially trucking, without insurance. And then just decide on the position you want to play. Like where are you? Where do you want to fit in this trucking business? Do you want to own your own truck? Do you want to lease a truck? Do you want to be a dispatcher? Do you want to work with compliance? Do you want to be a consultant like myself? Like where are you in this place? Like you have to be able to decide your position to start off with. But with a general name, if you decide 6 months to a year from now that you don't like dispatching anymore, you want to go in compliance, you can do that. You can move around. That's why you don't want to put a specific name to your business when you start it, because then you'll have to, start all over again or do a name change. It's just extra work for you. Okay. So this part, which is the bonus, is what elevates us and opportunities to do business in trucking. There are specific minority certifications that will allow us to receive special monies that are already put aside for us. Businesses now, and that's from the federal government on down, have diversity goals, meaning that they can't do business without using services from a minority or a woman-owned business. They have to give us a piece of the pie. It's good practice, and it's their role, especially when you're thinking about the government and the city and state. If organizations or departments don't have the minorities businesses or women-owned businesses on certain projects, they won't receive their total funding. So in essence, they need us. It's a benefit to us, but they also need us as well. So in order to get these monies, you can't just say, hey, I'm a woman, I'm a minority, then you need to just do business with me. There's a certification process that also goes along with that. So at the county level, the certification is called an MBE, which is a minority business enterprise, and WBE, which is women business enterprise. And that lets them know you've went through the process, you've applied for it. It asks you, these certifications ask you for all of the legitimacy of your business. So your LLC, your EIN, your DUNS number, your processes and procedures, your application, your resume, your capability statement, like all the stuff that I went through are just the basics of what they ask you for to verify that, for one, your business is official, and then for two, that you are identified as a woman and as a minority. Okay. And you don't have to have any revenue generating in your business yet. You could be a brand new business and apply for these. Some people want to see a previous contract or whatever, but according to their application process, there is no limit. The options are, do you make $1 million or $2 million and less? If you haven't made anything yet, that's the box that you click. But those certifications at the county, the city, the state, and the government level will give you leverage into receiving these contracts. Okay. And it's crucial, it's essential, and it can cost you a lot of money that you could miss out on if you don't have these certifications. The government process has set aside, which means that they actually set aside money. So if they have a $200 million project, at least $20 million of that needs to go to us, needs to go to a woman or minority owned company. And that's just not trucking. That's all services with the government, all services with the state, city, county. Like, no matter what your business is, there is an opportunity for you to receive this set aside money. There is a special process called the WOSB, which is Women Owned Small Business program within the government, that what actually has just a set aside just for us. We're not saying you have to be minority, you just need to be a woman. That's a whole different lane of money that's set aside. And then this amazing one that is called the 8A is a 9-year program where literally you don't have to bid for any contracts. They will just call and give the money to you because your company is already registered, already listed, said exactly what it does, and they'll give you the contract without you even bidding. And there's a $100 million cap on that. Like, once you make $100 million, like, you can't go any further. And the contract is only for 9 years. So you can't, once you exceed the 9 years, you can't come back and start again. Like, your company, once you get approved to be a part of this program, you're in it for the entire 9 years, and then that's it. But there is money that is just handed to you because of who you are, because you are a minority and because you are a woman. Okay, so, and it's different levels, there's different processes, different things you have to include in it. There's all type of paperwork, but that's why you need to have your business established in the beginning, so that when you get to these type of things, you can be a little bit more organized and ready to go. Okay, so the minority certifications is exactly that. Like it's certifications that allow you access to funding just for being exactly who you are. Okay. And that's a whole different, each one of them have their own application and their own requirements. Some of them are free. Some of them might cost $400, $500, $200, but majority of them, like especially from the government, all of that is free. All of that is free. The state level is free as well. The county and the city is where you might have a little bit of a cost. Okay. So my suggestion to anyone or multiple people considering the trucking business to get started, because we were thinking about the school concept. Remember, we had the teachers, we had the superintendent, the principal, and all of that. Keep that in mind and build a school. Like work together. If you are a person that wants to own and operate a truck, partner with somebody or a business that already has a compliance business, and then add in somebody that has a dispatching company, and then add in the consultant, so you all can work together. You don't have to have this huge, burden of having the authority alone. You can have the authority and bring in other people in their specialties that still have their own businesses. You all can still work together and still get a piece of the pie when applying for these different contracts, these different grants. So you can work in your own silo and still be successful. But it's also a great opportunity to make more when you team up. It's less work and it's more profit when we all work together. Okay, so that's just something to consider. That's just my little tidbit. Like, let's work together. Let's figure it out. Let's relieve the stress off each other. If you know other people who are either already in the trucking industry, or if you know people who want to get started, tell them about this information, tell them about strategic exceptions, tell them about the Illinois Minority Business Development Agency, so that you can get together, learn all of this stuff, and then just go from there. Okay. So like I said, I am a consultant. I give strategy sessions all the time, just for people who want to pick my brain or get guidance on where they should go. That session for 1 hour is typically $297, but for the webinar attendees, if you're interested, I do have it for $127 just for 1 hour. Just go to my website, which is bdlcoaching.com, and put in an inquiry and just put in there, dominate the road. And then we'll go from there. Or you can just email me directly at laverne@bdlcoaching.com. Okay. And I believe that when you stay close to strategic exceptions, stay close to the Illinois Minority Business Development Center, because there are opportunities for you to learn even more. Like, this was just the intro. This was just dust off the top of the shelf. There is so much more to walk you through, in terms of, if you're interested, if you're really serious about starting a business within the trucking industry, and these two organizations will be able to provide that for you. They'll be able to walk you through those steps. And it may be to no or minimal cost to you. So definitely stay in, stay connected, and follow and share with other people, because this is a field, just like Terry stated in the beginning, that a part of that $1 trillion is a large piece of that pie, especially with trucking, especially in construction. And if we can get our foot in that door to receive some of that money, which we don't normally do, we need to be ready and available for that. Okay. Okay, but other than that, I just want to thank you for your time. Again, you can find me at bdlcoaching.com. I'm here if you need anything. And I am closely connected to Terry now. So I'm sure if she needs anything in regards to the trucking industry or any other industry, she'll definitely be able to connect you to me as well. But that is all I have.
Thank you.
And I believe there's a
so
couple
much.
of... Oh, okay. I thought there was some questions in the chat, but I didn't see anything.
Oh, no, there's no questions. Those are just before the meeting. I was letting people know that we were going to start shortly. So
Okay.
Thank you so very much, Laverne. That was so much information.
You're welcome. I know it's so much to say about it.
So much information. So I wanted to just finish off with letting you know again, that we're here as the Illinois Minority Business Development Agency Business Center. We are in Elgin, but of course, nowadays everything can be done virtually. So if it's not something where it's close to you, no worries. We can always communicate through computer, email, texting. But I will be sending out an email to all the participants today for you to sign up with the Business Center. As Terry mentioned, it is free to sign up, and there's going to be access to the financial capital financial management, exclusive markets and contracts, and global exporting markets. So there's a lot of opportunity, probably bidding opportunities to come on different jobs. So, it doesn't matter what level, if you're starting your business, if you're already established in business, we would like for you to become a member so that you're in our system. And when there are those opportunities, we can reach out to you and let you know this opportunity is out there for you. This is down here, Terry's phone number, which you can copy down, 630-526-1064, or you can reach me. I'm Lisette. I didn't even introduce myself. I'm so sorry. I'm Lisette. I'm the executive director of the Illinois Minority Business Development Agency. So we're here to help you. You can reach me at 630-526-1065. Our email is info@strategicexceptions.com. So again, you'll be receiving an email from us, and then from there, there'll be a link for you to join and become a member. If there's any questions, anybody have any questions for myself or for Laverne? Let's see. Okay, well, if not, I want to thank you so much for your time. And again, thank you, Laverne, for all the great information you provided. And yes, we will be sending out a recording of this as well. So thank you so much. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.